Most gardeners waste hundreds of dollars on water bills every single year. Some spend over $1,000 just keeping their plants alive during the dry season. But what if I told you there's a way to water your garden that costs absolutely nothing and it works better than your tap water? Farmers in the driest parts of the world have used this trick for decades, but most home gardeners never hear about it. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly how to set up a system that waters your garden automatically without you lifting a single watering can, without turning on a single tap, and without spending a single dollar on your water bill. This isn't some complicated irrigation system that costs thousands of dollars. This is something so simple, you'll wonder why nobody told you about it sooner. And by the end of this video, you'll have everything you need to stop watering your garden the expensive way and start using nature's own watering system instead. Stay with me, because what I'm about to show you will change the way you garden forever. Problem. Let me ask you something. How much do you spend on water every month? Now, how much of that water goes to your garden? If you're like most gardeners, you're probably spending anywhere from $50 to $200 every month just to keep your plants from dying. And here's the worst part. Most of that water doesn't even reach your plant's roots. It evaporates in the heat, it runs off into the soil where your plants can't use it, and you're left watering again and again and again. Think about it. Every morning you wake up early to water your garden before the sun gets too hot. Or maybe you wait until evening, dragging that heavy hose across the yard. Your back hurts, your water bill keeps climbing. And no matter how much you water, some of your plants still look stressed. There's gotta be a better way, right? Now, here's what most people don't realize. The traditional way of watering, standing there with a hose or a watering can, is the least efficient method possible. Studies show that up to 50% of the water you spray on your garden never actually gets used by your plants. Half of it. It evaporates before it can soak into the soil, it runs off the surface if you water too fast, it pools in areas where you don't need it and leaves dry spots where you do. And if you're using tap water, you're also dealing with chlorine and other chemicals that aren't great for your soil's natural ecosystem. Plus, let's talk about the inconvenience. What happens when you go on vacation? What happens when you're sick or just too tired to drag yourself outside? Your plants suffer. I've been there. I've stood in my garden, hose in hand, watching my water bill climb higher every month, wondering if there was a better way. And that's when I discovered something that changed everything. Secret trick. Here's the secret that farmers have known for generations. Nature already has a perfect watering system. It's called rain. But here's the genius part. You don't need to wait for rain. You can capture it, store it, and use it whenever your plants need it. Completely free, completely automatic, and completely natural. What I'm about to show you is called a rainwater harvesting and drip irrigation system. Now, I know that sounds complicated, but stay with me, because you can set this up in a single afternoon with materials you probably already have lying around your house. Here's how it works. Step 1. You collect rainwater. Every time it rains, your roof becomes a massive water collector. Think about it. If you have a small house with just 1,000 square feet of roof space and you get just 1 inch of rain, that's over 600 gallons of water running off your roof. 600 gallons from 1 inch of rain. Most of us let all that water just run off into the street and down the drain. But what if you could capture it instead? All you need is a rain barrel, a large container, or even old plastic drums. You position them at the bottom of your downspout, that's the pipe that carries water from your gutters to the ground. You cut the downspout a few feet from the ground and direct it into your barrel. That's it. The next time it rains, instead of that water disappearing into the street, it fills your barrel. Now you have free water. Clean, chemical-free rainwater that your plants absolutely love. But here's where it gets even better. Step 2, you create a gravity-fed drip system. You don't even need electricity for this. Gravity does all the work. You elevate your rain barrel on cinder blocks, bricks, or a simple wooden stand, just 2 or 3 feet off the ground. Then you attach a simple spigot or tap to the bottom of the barrel. From that spigot, you run a hose or drip irrigation tubing directly to your garden beds. The water flows out slowly, drip by drip, directly to your plant's roots. No evaporation, no runoff, no waste. Your plants get exactly the amount of water they need, exactly where they need it, and you don't lift a finger. Let me show you exactly how to set this up, step by step. Materials you'll need: 1 large barrel, drum, or food-grade plastic container, 50 to 200 gallons. A downspout diverter, or a simple saw to cut your existing downspout. A spigot or tap. You can get these at any hardware store for a few dollars. A drill with a bit that matches your spigot size. Drip irrigation tubing or a simple garden hose with small holes. Cinder blocks, bricks, or wood to elevate your barrel. Screen or mesh to cover the top of your barrel. This keeps mosquitoes from breeding in your stored water and keeps leaves and debris out. Step 1. Find the right spot. Look at your gutters and downspouts. Pick the downspout that's closest to your garden. That's where your rain barrel will go. Step 2. Prepare your barrel. Make sure it's clean. If you're using a recycled barrel, rinse it thoroughly. Drill a hole near the bottom, about 3 to 4 inches from the base, and install your spigot. Make sure it's tight so it doesn't leak. You might want to use a rubber washer or some waterproof sealant to make it extra secure. Step 3. Position your barrel. Place your cinder blocks or bricks where you want your barrel to sit. Remember, height equals pressure. The higher your barrel, the better your water flow. 2 to 3 feet is usually perfect for most gardens. Step 4. Connect to your downspout. Cut your downspout about 6 inches above the top of your barrel. You can use a hacksaw or a simple PVC cutter. Then, either attach a downspout diverter. These are great because you can switch between filling the barrel and letting water drain away when the barrel is full, or simply direct the downspout directly into the top of your barrel. Step 5. Cover your barrel. Use screen or mesh to cover the opening. This keeps mosquitoes from breeding in your stored water and keeps leaves and debris out. Step 6. Set up your drip system. Attach your drip irrigation tubing or garden hose to the spigot. Run the tubing to your garden beds. If you're using drip irrigation tubing, you can add drip emitters at specific points where your plants are. If you're using a garden hose, you can poke small holes with a nail or buy a soaker hose that's already designed to weep water slowly. Step 7. Test your system. Open the spigot slightly. Watch as water flows through your tubing and drips onto your soil. Adjust the flow rate by opening or closing the spigot. You want a slow, steady drip, not a stream. Step 8. Set it and forget it. Once your system is running, you barely need to think about it. When it rains, your barrel fills up automatically. Your plants get watered automatically. You just eliminated 90% of your watering work and 100% of your water bill for the garden. Now, I know some of you are thinking, but what if it doesn't rain? Good question. Here's the beautiful thing. Even in areas where rain is unpredictable, this system still saves you massive amounts of money and effort. Because when it does rain, even just once or twice a month, you're capturing hundreds of gallons of free water. And if you live somewhere with a rainy season, you can fill multiple barrels and have enough water stored to last through the dry months. You can connect multiple barrels together to increase your storage capacity. Just use a simple hose connector to link them, and they'll all fill up together. Some gardeners I know have 5, 10, even 20 barrels set up around their property. They harvest thousands of gallons of rainwater every year, completely free, completely sustainable, completely automatic. Let me show you what this looks like in action in a real garden. This garden hasn't been watered by hand in 6 months. Everything you see here is being watered exclusively by the rainwater harvesting and drip system I just showed you. Look at these tomatoes. Fat, healthy, deep green leaves, no signs of water stress. Here are my peppers, thriving, loaded with fruit. Feel this soil. It's moist, but not waterlogged. That's the beauty of drip irrigation. It delivers water slowly and consistently, so the soil stays at the perfect moisture level. See these drip lines? They're barely visible under the mulch, but they're doing all the work. Every few hours, a little bit of water seeps out right at the base of each plant. The roots soak it up. Nothing is wasted. Now let me show you something really interesting. This bed on the left has been using the drip system. This bed on the left has been using the drip system. This bed on the right I've been watering by hand with a hose, just like most people do. Look at the difference. The plants on the left are bigger, greener, more productive. The plants on the right look stressed, even though I've been watering them every day. Why? Because hand watering is inconsistent. Some days I water too much, some days not enough. The soil dries out between waterings, then gets flooded. The plants never get a chance to establish a steady rhythm. But over here, the plants get a slow, steady supply of water. The soil never dries out completely, but it's also never waterlogged. The roots grow deeper, searching for that consistent moisture. And deep roots mean healthier, more resilient plants. I pulled up a plant from each bed last week to compare the roots. The difference was shocking. The plant from the drip-irrigated bed had roots twice as long and 3 times as thick. Stronger roots mean better nutrient absorption, better drought resistance, and bigger harvests. Let me show you some numbers that'll blow your mind. Before I installed this system, my water bill during the growing season was running about $120 a month. That's $1,440 a year, just for water. Since I switched to rainwater harvesting, my water bill for the garden is zero. I've saved over $2,800 in the last 2 years, and the entire system cost me less than $100 to set up. Rain barrel, $50, or free if you find a used one. Spigot, $5. Drip tubing, $20. Miscellaneous connectors and mesh, $15. Total about $90. That system paid for itself in the first month. Everything after that is pure savings. But it's not just about the money, it's about the freedom. I used to dread watering. It took 45 minutes every single morning. My back would hurt. I'd be sweating before I even had breakfast. And if I wanted to travel, I'd have to beg a neighbor to come water for me. Now, I spend maybe 5 minutes a week checking on the system. That's it. I can go away for a week, 2 weeks. The garden waters itself, and my plants are healthier than they've ever been. Let me show you the difference in yield. Last year, before I installed this system, I harvested about 30 pounds of tomatoes from this bed. This year, with the same number of plants, same bed, same seeds, I've already harvested over 60 pounds, and we're not even done with the season yet. That's double the yield, from the same space. The only thing I changed was the watering system. Same story with peppers, cucumbers, beans. Everything is producing more.